Fueled by Guinness, powered by celery, and the TV show that promises never to stick a mic in the face of a football fan outside of a stadium and call it Arsenal Fan TV. So there. Now, I am Stamford Chidge, and the name of this show is the Chelsea Football FanCast. We're forever bursting bubbles, a title that I know is loved by Chang on Twitter, but there you go. Now, joining me on the show, not by Ross, incidentally. Anyway, joining me on the show tonight is Darren.
I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it too, Darren. He didn't like it.
I do like it. It's just you can do better, Chidge.
I could do better.
You do better, in fact.
You're a hard taskmaster. How are you?
I'm good. New digs.
Yeah, we're new surroundings. All a bit mental tonight. Sorry for a slight delay on the show tonight, but we have a few technical issues, but I'm sure we will busk our way through as we always do. Pablo!
Yeah, good evening. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Getting by.
Enjoy the week off, as it were.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did, actually. It was quite nice to not be talking about football for a week and instead laughing at England doing terribly. But there you go. Now, we do have a lovely person on my left-hand side tonight. He is, of course, Tim Rolls. Many of you will know Tim, known as Sausage to his mates on Twitter. So I had to get that in, mate.
Thanks.
Now, Tim writes for cfcuk and the plains of Almeria, and he is the chairman of the Chelsea Supporters Trust, and he's also a very keen gardener and cook, I'm led to believe. Is that right, Tim?
That's correct, yeah. Going for garlic big in 2014.
OK, garlic in 2014. Yeah, scare away the Romanians. So I didn't mean anything naughty by that. Vampires, really. Anyway, as we will be talking to Tim about Chelsea Supporters Trust, which is a very, very important thing, much beloved by those of us on the Chelsea FanCast. We'll also be talking about the win against West Ham. We're also hoping to speak to Dan Levine from the Fulham Chronicle live from the press conference at Basel, which is being held this evening, and hopefully he's going to report on what Jose's been saying. He could ring at any moment. We don't know if he's going to quite make it, but we're keeping our fingers crossed. Now, the other thing we've got, of course, is a few people on a nice-looking sofa. A nice-looking sofa and a very patriotic sofa. Chadder, how are you?
Very well, sir. It's good to see you all again.
It's lovely to see you too. I've actually quite missed you lot on the benches. Who have we got this week?
As always, got Gary Bailey here with us.
Gaffer!
And a regular feature, it seems now, just behind me there, Andy Silverman.
The top chef.
Cracking shirt.
Cracking shirt as well, I couldn't agree more. And
a regular contributor to the Mixler chat room. We've got Carly with us today as well.
the lovely Carly making her debut. How delightful. And we've also got something in the middle. Is it Donald? Is that a new signing or something? Chad, do you want to tell me about your duck? Does that...
Well, Gary's put this here.
Has he?
In memory of Harry Baker, who's not here.
Ah! Lovely. One Harry Baker, quack, quack. I like it. So there we go. So we've got a lovely, lively benches for us this evening, which, of course, I always enjoy. And, of course, if you want to be on the benches, there's probably room for one more, as we say. But all you have to do is send us an email to chelseafancast@gmail.com. And, of course, if you want to keep in touch with Chadder and contribute to the show in a proper style, you can send a tweet to @ChelseaFancast. Use the hashtag #ChelseaFancast, of course. And the other thing, of course, that Chadder is responsible for and loves to do, as we all know, is that he likes to get on the old chat page at mixler.com/Chelsea-fancast. And you can hurl abuse at him and hurl abuse at me when the sound doesn't work. Do what you normally do. But get involved. That's the whole point, really. Now, one of the other things that's very important for us is we have a part in the show in about an hour and a bit, which is called You're on CFFC, and we absolutely positively encourage you to join in with that and ask us questions, particularly if you do so by Skype. I'm looking forward to that. You can ask Tim questions about the Trust as well, and we're going to have a chat with some other people on Skype. I'm looking forward to that because one of the topics we're going to be talking about is atmosphere. I'm not talking about the atmosphere on the benches, which never lets us down. I'm talking about the atmosphere at Stamford Chidge. And there's a young lad called Richard Weeks who's going to be trying to get some efforts going to increase the atmosphere in the shed end, and he'll be on the phone. So it's all good. Skype address is chelsea.fancast, so get involved with that. But now we're going to talk a little bit about a game that happened on Saturday. It seems so long since we've been talking about football. I'm quite pumped for this, I have to say. But there you go. Now, the first thing we normally do when we talk about the game of the week, of course it was West Ham on Saturday, is we have something that we like to call Ross's ratings. And normally we put up a very sexy-looking graphic where Ross can lay bare his soul in terms of who he has completely mugged off by giving very few points to. But sadly, we don't have the graphic with us tonight because we've had a few issues. But We will run through them, won't we, Ross? In fact, I will allow Ross to do this because it's his kind of thing.
Well, no one got mugged off this week.
No? Really?
Everyone played quite well.
Did they?
Yeah, starting at the back, I thought Czech was all right. He didn't actually have a save to make until the 93rd minute, so I gave
Which
him
was a good
6.
save, as I recall.
It was a decent save, yeah.
So he got 6 for really just kind of turning up.
Yeah,
I think
just standing between the goalposts.
I think that's fair enough. You get like 5 for turning up, right, if you start, and then you get an extra point for making a save. I think that's fair enough.
That's how that one works.
I like it.
Potentially an extra one for not kicking the ball straight to the other team's striker after 14 seconds.
No, as in fact Hugo Lloris did twice, didn't he, in fact? Yes. Did I laugh? I certainly did. So anyway, so Czech gets 6, and what about the back 4, Ross?
At full back, I thought Aspie looked as comfortable as ever at left back, and he was up and down his flank, and Brannan looked very solid and made a couple of important challenges. They both got 8. Terry and Cahill were calm and composed, and Gary Cahill stepped up well from the back, and they both got 7s.
I have to say, Ross, I'm not disagreeing with any of this, so don't panic. But I would like to say about Cahill, I thought it was really interesting that actually West Ham were so abysmal that we were allowed to play 1 at the back, really, because
Yes.
I thought that Aspie and Branner, but particularly Cahill, were going forward a lot. In fact,
bit
Cahill
like
kind of
Ricky
made
Carvalho,
the first goal, really, which we'll talk about after the break. But so there we go.
Very reminiscent of what Ricky Carvalho used to do.
Yeah.
after Jersey.
Apart from one very important thing.
What's that? Not the same quality of haircut.
No, Gary Cahill is not scared of cheese. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you think I'm just gone mad. You know, Sheridan Bird, the Michael Ballack Diaries. Check it out and you'll understand that Ricky Carvalho is in fact scared of cheese. Isn't that true?
Hilarious.
It is true. Anyway, we move on.
In midfield, Mikel and Ramirez looked very comfortable in the midfield 3 because, of course, we played a 4-3-3, both getting a 7. Frank had a strong all-round performance, capped it off with 2 goals, so he gets a 9. As does Oscar, who was very effective in the centre of the park, won a penalty and an exceptional finish as well. Eto'o was excellent in the first half, influenced and involved in play a lot. He got 7.
I've got a question for you because I know you're coming to the subs, and of course one of the subs was Bar. Did you give Bar 6 points? Basically 5 for turning up and 1 for wearing extra arms. Did you notice that he kind of had extra arms? Did you not notice that on the benches?
Oh, what, he had...
He did. He had, like, the shirt on, and it looked like he had you know those kind of comedy arms you get, where you have, like, really long arms? Yeah, he did. You know, like, when you do that, and you kind of, like, you know, can whack people... He had comedy arms on. Did you give him a point for that?
He had a blue undersleeve and
it was very odd. It was very odd, but it looked like... Darren's looking at me like...
I really don't remember.
I have no idea.
I was there, but I don't remember that at all.
Well, trust me, you know, he had comedy arms on. Would I lie to you? No. Anyway, so Bar got 6.
Bar got 6, Eto'o got a 7. I thought he was excellent in the first half, a bit quiet in the second half.
Can I just make a quick point? Sorry, I was listening, walking back from Upton Park to West Ham Tube. Stan Collymore was on, and he thought that Mikel was interested. No, unfortunately not. He was on TalkSport, but he was saying that he thought Mikel was the man of the match. So it just goes to show with opinions. I thought Mikel was okay, but Collymore was quite clear that he thought he was the best player.
He's just jumping on a bandwagon team.
But the West Ham. They announced that the man of the match in the ground with about 5 minutes to go was a West Ham player. I can't remember his name. He only came on after about 40 minutes. And Diarmi. But they announced him as man of the match.
Oh, for God! How could you? Sorry, it's absolutely.
What do you think? They're not going to give it to the opposition team anyway. Like, particularly, they're not going to give it to
It was just very funny because everybody just laughed. And singing, man of the match, you're having a laugh because it was just so funny. There were 8 or 9 Chelsea players.
Diarmi was man of the match last year when he came on at half-time.
And he deserved it.
Yeah, well, indeed. It's like different. I'll
tell you what.
Sorry, I interrupted there.
The only thing I can applaud about West Ham's announcer calling Diarmi man of the match is that at least he does abide by the Chelsea FanCast rules, which are you can never give the opposition man of the match on principle. So I can understand where they're coming from, but it's still laughable.
Quite amusing.
Yeah. Very, very ridiculous.
And then finally, Hazard played with great freedom, had a top assist for the second goal, and was constant threat, so he got 8.
Now, and I think all well deserved. I mean, I wouldn't argue with the marks for any of those, and I think once we wound Ross up the other week for being a bit stingy with his marks, didn't we, Pablo? And I'm glad to see that. Against my hopes and expectations, he's given 2 players 9.
Yeah.
High praise for you, Ross.
Yeah, I know. Lampard, I thought Oscar, that was the best 45 minutes of football I've seen from a Chelsea player this season.
What, from Lampard?
From
No,
Oscar.
from Oscar.
From
I thought
Oscar,
what was
yeah.
interesting with Lampard is I'm still not entirely convinced that it was the same kind of 4-3-3 that we played in kind of like 2005 or whatever, because I thought Ramirez and Mikel looked very flat.
Ramirez kind of moved over to the right-hand side to protect Oscar, because Oscar was cutting in quite a lot. But
so rather than just having something like what was Makelele, it seemed there were two of them and Lampard in front of them rather than one and then
West
two.
Ham was so poor, the midfield sort of had the freedom of the park. Upton Park.
I see what you've done there, Ross. I thought it was a very good team performance. I think that Ross's ratings are pretty much bang on there. I also think that it was fascinating because obviously I didn't go. I was watching it on TV. Plastic armchair fan, I know, but a lot of the talk on Twitter was that, I mean, you and I were having a bit of a tweet, weren't we? But it was quite unclear as to really whether it was 4-3-3 or what, or who was playing where. Ross and I talked about this earlier on, actually, and I said, actually, for a lot of the game, they looked like they were playing 4-1-4-1 because Mikel was clearly, sitting quite deep. But everybody other than Eto'o were interchanging all over the place. It was wonderful. Lots of fluid football.
What's clear anyway is that Lampard played a lot further up than he has been recently, and he played a lot better than he has been recently.
And I keep saying that Mikel should be playing as the holding role in away games because that's when you need someone just there.
Absolutely. Well, I tell you what, amen to that. And I tell you what, we ought to really pick up on this after the break because it's going to be a bit of a Lampard fest. I can feel it. I can feel it rising.
The Frank Fest.
Oh! Ross is on fire tonight. Excellent. Well, we will be back with you.
He can write the title next week.
He can write the title. No, he can't. That's my job. That's my job. He's not getting the promotion. We'll be back after a very short...